Hi, this is Benito, and today I am in Santorini, Greece. I am doing a walking tour, and during the video I am going to give you some history about the island of Santorini. So, watch the video till the end. Also don't forget to like, subscribe and leave a comment. Santorini is one of the Cyclades islands in the Aegean Sea. It was devastated by a volcanic eruption in the 16th century BC, forever shaping its rugged landscape. The whitewashed, cubiform houses of its two principal towns, Fira and Oia, cling to cliffs above an underwater caldera. The houses overlook the sea, towards small islands to the west and beaches made up of black, red and white lava pebbles. Santorini was named by the Latin Empire in the 13th century, and is a reference to Saint Irene, from the name of the old cathedral in the village of Pisa. The name Santorini is a contraction of the name Sant Irene, for, before then, it was known as Calliste, the most beautiful one, or Thera. The name Thera was revived in the 19th century as the official name of the island and its main city, but the colloquial name Santorini is still in popular use. Excavations starting in 1967 at the Akrotiri site under the late Professor Spiridon Marinatos have made Thera the best-known Minoan site outside Crete, homeland of the culture. The island was not known as Thera at this time. Only the southern tip of a large town has been uncovered, yet it has revealed complexes of multi-level buildings, streets, and squares with remains of walls standing as high as 8 meters, all entombed in the solidified ash of the famous eruption of Thera. The site was not a palace complex as found in Crete, but neither was it a conglomeration of merchants' warehousing, as its excellent masonry and fine wall paintings show. A loom workshop suggests organized textile weaving for export. This Bronze Age civilization thrived between 300 and 2000 BC, reaching its peak in the period between 2000 and 1630 BC. Many of the houses in Akrotiri are major structures, some of them 3 stories high. Its streets, squares, and walls were preserved in the layers of ejecta, sometimes as tall as 8 meters, indicating this was a major town. In many houses stone staircases are still intact, and they contain huge ceramic storage jars, mills, and pottery. Noted archaeological remains found in Akrotiri are wall paintings or frescoes, which have kept their original color well, as they were preserved under many meters of volcanic ash. The town also had a highly developed drainage system and, judging from the fine artwork, its citizens were clearly sophisticated and relatively wealthy people. Pipes with running water and water closets found at Akrotiri are the oldest such utilities discovered. The pipes run in twin systems, indicating that Therans used both hot and cold water supplies. The origin of the hot water probably was geothermic, given the volcano's proximity. Fragmentary wall paintings at Akrotiri lack the insistent religious or mythological content familiar in classical Greek decor. Instead, the Minoan frescoes depict saffron gatherers, who offer their crocus stamens to a seated lady, perhaps a goddess. Crocus has been discovered to have many medicinal values, including the relief of menstrual pain. This has led many, archaeologists to believe that the fresco of the saffron/crocus gatherers is a coming-of-age fresco dealing with female pubescence. In another house are two antelopes painted with a confident calligraphic line, a fisherman holding fish strung by their gills, and a flotilla of pleasure boats, accompanied by leaping dolphins, where ladies take their ease in the shade of light canopies, among other frescoes. The well-preserved ruins of the ancient town are often compared to the spectacular ruins at Pompeii in Italy. The oldest signs of human settlement are late Neolithic, 4th millennium BC or earlier, but 2000 to 1650 BC Akrotiri developed into one of the Aegean's major Bronze Age ports, with recovered objects that came not just from Crete, but also from Anatolia, Cyprus, Syria, and Egypt, as well as from the Dodecanese and the Greek mainland. The Minoan eruption provides a fixed point for the chronology of the 2nd millennium BC in the Aegean, because evidence of the eruption occurs throughout the region and the site itself contains material culture from outside. The eruption occurred during the late Minoan period of Minoan chronology at Crete and the late Cycladic period in the surrounding islands. Archaeological evidence, based on the established chronology of Bronze Age Mediterranean cultures, dates the eruption to around 1500 BC. These dates, however, conflict with radiocarbon dating, which indicates that the eruption occurred at about 1645 to 1600 BC. For those, and other reasons, the date of the eruption is disputed. As with other Greek territories, Fira then was ruled by the Romans. When the Roman Empire was divided, the island passed to the eastern side of the empire, which today is known as the Byzantine Empire. According to George Cedrenus, the volcano erupted again in the summer of 727, the 10th year of the reign of Leo III the Isaurian. This terrifying explosion was interpreted as a divine omen against the worship of religious icons and gave the Emperor Leo III the Isaurian the justification he needed to begin implementing his iconoclasm policy. The name Santorini first appears in 1153 to 1154 in the work of the Muslim geographer Al-Idrisi, as Santorin, from the island's patron saint, Saint Irene. After the Fourth Crusade, it was occupied by the Duchy of Naxos, which held it up to circa 1280 when it was reconquered by Lucario. The claims of earlier historians that the island had been held by Jacopo I Barazzi and his son as a fief have been refuted in the second half of the 20th century. Winkwith of Frown 17, 18, 19. It was again reconquered from the Byzantines circa 1301 by Iacopo II Barazzi, a member of the Cretan branch of the Venetian Barazzi family, whose descendant held it until it was annexed. In 1335 by Niccolò Sanudo after various legal and military conflicts. In 1318 to 1331 and 1345 to 1360 it was raided by the Turkish principalities of Mentesh and Aden but did not suffer much damage. Because of the Venetians, the island became home to a sizable Catholic community and is still the seat of a Catholic bishopric. From the 15th century on, the suzerainty of the Republic of Venice over the island was recognized in a series of treaties by the Ottoman Empire, but this did not stop Ottoman raids, until it was captured by the Ottoman Admiral Piali Pasha in 1576, as part of a process of annexation of most remaining Latin possessions in the Aegean. Santorini retained its privileged position in the 17th century but suffered in turn from Venetian raids during the frequent Ottoman-Venetian wars of the period, even though there were no Muslims on the island. In the early 1950s, the shipping magnate Evangelos P. Namikos and his wife Lula decided to support their birthplace and so asked residents to choose whether they wanted the couple to pay for the construction of either a hotel or a hospital, to which local authorities replied that they would prefer a hotel. As a result, in 1952 the Namikos commissioned the architect Venetsanos to undertake the design and paid for the construction of the Hotel Atlantis, which was at the time the most glamorous hotel in the Cyclades. In 1954, Santorini had approximately 12,000 inhabitants and very few visitors. The only modes of transport on the island were a jeep, a small bus and the island's traditional donkeys and mules. On July 9, 1956, an earthquake with a magnitude of 7.8 struck the island of Santorini. The earthquakes killed 53 people and injured another 100. On Santorini, 35% of the houses collapsed and 45% suffered major or minor damage. In total, 529 houses were destroyed, 1,482 were severely damaged and 1,750 lightly damaged. Almost all public buildings were completely destroyed. One of the largest buildings that survived unscathed was the newly built Hotel Atlantis, which allowed it to be used as a temporary hospital and to house public services. The greatest damage was experienced on the western side along the edge of the caldera, especially at OIA, with parts of the ground collapsing into the sea. The damage from the earthquake reduced most of the population to extreme poverty and caused many to leave the island in search of better opportunities, with most settling in Athens. The expansion of tourism in recent years has resulted in the growth of the economy and population. Santorini was ranked the world's top island by many magazines and travel sites, including the Travel and Leisure magazine, the BBC, as well as the US News. An estimated 2 million tourists visit Santorini annually. Keep watching the walking tour. This was a Santorini walking tour and history of the island. I hope you enjoyed the video.
I hope you enjoy my video, so please like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Thank you, and see you in the next video.